Howdy, y'all. It's Russell back with Gwinnett Lawns in, well, not so beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. I'm actually a little stuffy because today is Tuesday, August the 5th. It has been raining since Saturday afternoon, nonstop. There is a low pressure system or something that's stalled out over Georgia, parts of northern Florida, and the Carolinas, and just keeps raining and raining and raining and raining. And it's the mid 60s. It's been the mid 60s here, which is crazy for August. I mean, it's physically it feels cold. There's a little breeze. It's really humid. But I wanted to show you guys the it's just, everything is just completely saturated. Here is my sand pit that I made. So this has been working extremely well. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just cover this over with dirt, and the Bermuda probably will grow at least a little bit. So there's a big shadow here and the sun doesn't reach it because of the fence, but there used to be standing water here anytime it rained for days and days and days, and I dug all this out about almost 2 feet down, filled it with number 57 gravel and then some smaller pea gravel, and then put sand over the top of it. So it's basically like a holding tank, so that the water, this will never, well, I say never, but it probably will never rain enough for the water to come up to the surface. So what this does is it just allows this to be dry, and the water sitting in there, and that will just sink into further in the soil. So that worked really well. So I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple things. Number one, I had scheduled to have 3 mowers, a demo of 3 mowers on Thursday. That got blown away because I had to reschedule it probably for 2 weeks from now because it's just too wet. If we get to mow tomorrow, we are going to be so far behind, and the ground is so saturated. Like if it stopped raining now and didn't rain anymore, this right here never ever gets saturated. I wouldn't even put the trim stars on that. My yard is very resistant to getting like a sponge, but I have a lot of customers that have low spaces in their yards, and because of improper drainage and the gutters where they dump out, and so we're going to be at least 3 days behind. So that's the first question. What do you guys do if you have bi-weekly? I'm just thankful that I cut my yard Saturday right before it rained because it was really, really tall, and I can only imagine the houses that we have to cut. They should have been, it's been 2 weeks, so, and all this rain is just gonna produce a problem. So that's the first thing. So there are some demos. I'm not gonna tell you what they are yet, but it's 3 mowers from the same manufacturer. That's the first thing. The second thing is I wanted to ask you guys and especially you guys that are in this area that are experiencing this rain, how are you dealing with your time that you have off? So I did all my mower maintenance, everything that I needed to do on Friday and Saturday, and otherwise I would have used this time to do that. But so there's nothing I need to do maintenance wise. I am waiting. I'm going to do a video on I have to repair one of the go slides, the Velkies that's on the trim star. One of them's torn up pretty good. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm supposed to get the parts today. FedEx is supposed to bring them today. And I've got some more trimmer line that I'm going to try out. I have come to the conclusion, you guys know that my absolute favorite trimmer line is the .130 low noise line. I'm going to preface that by saying I found a couple situations where I'm not going to say I don't like it, but I prefer the 095. So for my Edge It Pro that I have on my weed eater, it's a big circle, if you're not familiar with it, and I use that for edging and trimming and everything, so I don't have to use the blade edger. Well, as that plastic wears, as it's wearing, and the diameter has gotten smaller and smaller, I have found that normally when I will edge, like here for example, I'll stand on the concrete side, whether it's the driveway or the street or whatever, and edge this way. Because the diameter of that Edge It Pro is shrunk, it's making it act like the line is longer than it really is. And I found that if I stand on the grass side, this side, and edge, it actually makes it a little bit better edge. Now, it's only since the diameter of that thing has shrunk a little bit. If I use the other trimmer, it's fine on both sides, but you can, it's fine doing it on the concrete side, but it makes a little bit better edge on the if you stand on the grass side. That's one thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed is I had tested I think 3 different lines from iGo Pro Lawn Supply, and I really like them. And these are all 095 lines. Now, an 095 line, now I'm just talking specifically on Bermuda and probably zoysia, because they're very, very thick, dense, and they're very low grasses. This does not really apply to like weeds, or if you're cutting, let's say, some fescue that you're going to cut higher. I have found that the 095 gives a little bit cleaner cut, but it doesn't grab. So when I'm weed eating, let's say I'm trimming against a fence or whatever, and it's Bermuda, it's not weeds, right? So I'm trying to trim it down a little bit. The 095 line will slice it really, really cleanly and not tend to grab on the transition right there where the Bermuda is really thick. The 095 line does, unless I rev it up really, really high. So I'm not one to run my trimmers wide open. I'm more of a half throttle kind of dude, unless it's super heavy weeds. But just for regular maintenance, I'm running it about half speed, because it's just not necessary, and I'm too close to the houses. I don't want to take a chance on flinging rocks in the windows or whatever. So when you run that 130 line a little bit slower on the thick Bermuda, now in the spring when it's not so thick, or in the fall, it doesn't matter, right? But I found that I'm like, there's a pattern here. So with my order of my Go Slide parts, I'm going to get some more of the trimmer line. I'm going to show you guys, because I've used a bunch of each of those before. One is a round twisted line, one of them's I think square, and one of them's a diamond. Each of them, now these lines they're okay for doing the edging. I think the round line probably does the best for edging. They don't do as good as the 130 line, the low noise, at all for edging. But for trimming, yeah. Now, the other thing is it doesn't last as long, obviously, because the line is smaller. It's just physically smaller. So I'll go through more 095 line. However, it's very frustrating when the trimmer grabs onto the grass, right? It tends to grab it, and like I said, I don't have any of that problem with yards that are just weeds and are not as dense. Bermuda is just like, it's like a Berber carpet. And the same thing with zoysia, and even more so zoysia, but almost everything around here is Bermuda. So I'm going to be showing you guys those lines, and giving you my thoughts on that, because I do think that, at least in this environment, that I'm probably, I think, going to just run the 095 in the probably June, July, August time frame when it's super thick, and then anytime else I'll just run the 130. So and because of the heat, so you guys know I can't stand the cold. I love the heat, but I'm going to tell you, this has been and I think even the news, local news station, one of them said that this has been the hottest summer on record as far as the feels like temperature in like over a decade. There was one day where it literally broke me. I was working at a customer's house. I was actually I was preparing the ground to plant some centipede grass for her, and it was in full sun. It was about 11:30 in the morning. Full sun. The humidity was about 70%. I don't know what the feels like, I didn't check, but there was the breeze was non-existent. It was horrible. And I'm usually either on the mower. If I have the mower, then I've got the blower blowing on me, or I'm moving around, at a pretty good clip, edging and weed eating and stuff. And so I told her, I said, I have to get out. I got to get in the shade for a little while. And it was horrible. Like, I was like, and even she commented, she said, all the years you've ever been here, I've never heard you complain that much about the heat. Well, she didn't hear me complain about the heat at all. So, she gave me one of those neck fans. She wears it all the time. And I put that thing on, man, I drank a bunch of water, chilled out for a minute, and then I put that neck fan on, and I worked another hour in the heat, no problem whatsoever. All because I had air blowing up on my head. I had seen her wear these things for a couple of years, and I'm like, that's not doing anything. Wrong. So she actually gave it to me, and I'm very thankful for that. And the other thing is, when I'm mowing, you guys have seen my the blower that I have mounted on the mower, and I have been turning the blower on so it's blowing on me as I'm mowing. The problem is when I have to stop and I got to pick the weed eater up and I've got to walk all over the yard, that is where I really start getting really hot. And so I have a belt clipped fan that I can put on my belt. I've seen these before. I'm like, that's not going to do anything. So I bought the one that had the biggest battery that they make. And I'm going to be testing that out. I don't know really if I'm going to be able to use it this week because it's so cool out. But when I give both of those a thorough test, we'll do a review on that and show you. Because just putting it on, the amount of air that it moves, it can blow up under your shirt, is crazy. And I've never seen anybody use one of those. Never. So, and this change in temperature is making giving me a raspy voice. So this is more like late September weather. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I will do a couple videos on the repair, and I just wanted to find out if you guys are experiencing this like week of rain. In fact, we are not supposed to have any dry weather. Like, it's going to be, I think, raining Yeah. It's going to be raining. 70% chance today. So hopefully Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday we can get caught up. But boy, is this rain going to make the phone ring. As soon as it stops raining and people see how overgrown their grass is, the grass has become, the phone's going to ring. I'm telling you, I get almost as many inquiries for lawn service in the middle of the season as I do in the spring. It's really crazy. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening to me ramble on. Please just tell me how you guys are handling the rain if you're in the area that this low pressure system is just sitting over. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? Are you just taking a nap? Are you just chilling out? Are you doing maintenance on your mowers? What? Tell me. Tell me down in the comments. And I'll talk to you guys on the next video.